So welcome everyone. We thought it might be fun to do a short little video today about the gifts of nature that are available here in Austin in spring. But wherever you live, I'm sure that you'll notice, if you look, that there are wonderful plants that are starting to pop up out of the soil. Happy as can be, new flowers starting to bloom. And there are profound gifts in many of the things that we consider pests and problems. I think it's interesting that some of the plants that have some of the most profound healing benefits for us, we use weed eaters on and use chemicals on to destroy them and get rid of them. Things like dandelions, which are so profound for our liver, and if you go all the way down to the root, for the liver and the kidney. And instead of eating them and enjoying them and honoring them, we try and kill them. Pull them out, get rid of them, do whatever we can to, make sure that their population is greatly reduced. So today I'm going to take you out into my backyard. And we haven't cut the grass or anything yet because we love to have the wildflowers around for as long as we can. And I'm going to just show you some things that are just popped up on their own that are all over our backyard. Things like wild onions and dandelions and one of my absolute favorites, plantain. If you live in other parts of the country, I just came back from California. I had the most delicious salad of miner's lettuce and clover. Oh my goodness, the clover tastes like lemonade. And the miner's lettuce is so mild, and it's just a lovely, gentle, round leaf that makes an absolutely delicious salad. In my days backpacking in the woods, I was always absolutely so excited when the miner's lettuce showed up for its short period of time, because it meant that I could have some delicious salad to eat. So I encourage you to explore the plants that are edible in your environment. I also looked into a little bit about purslane. Purslane also grows here in Austin, and in my own foolishness, I pulled it up. One little plant will produce like 50,000 seeds, but those 50,000 seeds have incredible healing qualities that the Native Americans knew about. They would grind it up and make it into a flour and use it for all kinds of different healing support for infections and reducing inflammation and all kinds of good things for us. They look like little poppy seeds. So I couldn't find any purslane to show you. But I will be showing you the delights of the plantain, the dandelion, and our wild onions. And I'm going to make a salad and have a bite or two in front of you, hopefully getting you tantalized and ready to go out and discover for yourself your own plants. The one thing I wanted to just quickly mention, and in a relatively strong way, is that if you don't have your own backyard to pick, please go way out into nature. Don't go to places where people are using pesticides, because you don't want to eat your salads that have been highly pesticided. So if you go out into the parks, out into the nature parks where they're not trying to create a fancy green lawn, but where nature's allowed to just grow wild, there you will find more than you can imagine of the most wonderful edible plants. And if some of you discover more, especially here in Austin, that you can tell me about, I would love to hear about them, and we might talk about them in one of our other shows. Okay, so this is our plantain, and it's growing all over the place. I like to go where it's a little bit shadier, but you can see it growing all through here. But it's just all green in the beginning, almost whitish in the very, very beginning. And these are so delicious. They're very mild. To me, they're milder tasting than than spinach. I like to use mostly this in my salad. If you're lucky enough to find clover, these little clovers, they are very lemony. These are wild onions. You can actually eat the flower. They have an onion flavor, actually as a second flavor. There's something sweet in the beginning. And, oh, they make the best salad.
Garden?
I pulled all of these out of my backyard in the last few minutes. Come over here, I'll show you the onions.
Just wild growing weeds, basically, right?
Yes, these are all just wild. So here are the wild onions. And they're all over the place. And, you know, as we're talking about in the video about spring cleaning, and the most important thing is you don't want to be eating plants that have been pesticided. So we never use pesticides in our yard. This is a dandelion leaf. I suggest that you try and pull tender ones like this. They're bitter, but they're so good as a healer for your liver. And you can pull up the root and actually boil the root to make a tea. And if you roasted that root before you made it, it almost tastes like coffee. They use it as a coffee substitute. But it's wonderful for both the liver and the kidney. And one of the best things to know about this plantain is if you chew it and you've got mosquito bites, you can chew it and make it real moist and wet and put it on the mosquito bite and it'll stop the itching, which is wonderful because plantain does grow all around where the poison ivy is. And in California, there's another plant that grew around the poison oak. So it seems like the antidote to things that cause harm to humans grows right next to the thing that causes the harm. You can use that plantain also if you make a tincture of it. So you can squeeze the juice and make a tincture, or actually just add it to a little bit of alcohol and use that in the ear for ear infections. As you can see, there's all this plantain growing through here still. So right here, you can see it by these funny leaves. They're very unique. Sometimes people mix up some other ones too, but they always seem to have a little bit of a reddish tint to them. They're redder at different times of the year, less red as the summer goes on. But you can see this unique, they're always 3 leaves together. Here's some right here too. And here's what happens if you get poison ivy. I didn't realize that I had pulled some other weeds that the poison ivy was next to, or was mixed in, probably totally covered up by some bigger weeds. And I was out of town when it actually showed up. I use a homeopathic remedy of poison ivy, which usually will, if I know that I've been in it, I'll take it and it won't come out. Or I take it as soon as I get the first indication that it's showing up, and it goes away before it has a chance to do this. But the minute I took the poison ivy, all the itching and pain was gone. The homeopathic poison ivy called Russ Talks. And here's a whole bunch of it, just right in through here. So we just came back in after being outdoors and picking our beautiful wild salad. And now what I'm going to do is prepare it so that we can enjoy it. But I'll just show you quickly. Here's one of our dandelion leaves. And so here's a dandelion leaf. Here's some of our delicious, sweet onions. And you can see the colors really greatly vary from purple to white. And my favorite, the plantain. So there are just so many wonderful benefits from eating from the land, as far as just, you know, our body's acknowledgement that we are in tune with what she's providing us right now. But then they all have these wonderful medicinal experiences as well. And what I'm doing at the moment is I am cutting up the leaves so that I can have all the flavors blended. and so that they're small enough that I can get them on a fork. And I use the most extraordinary oils. I think we may have talked about these before. These oils are by a man named Andreas, who was an Olympic athlete and who also, after his time in the Olympics, ended up with Crohn's disease and was looking for a way to actually have cold-pressed oils. Because even our organic oils that are considered to be cold-pressed, the pressing process themselves, the heat of the stones or whatever, is so high that it totally changes the taste of the oils. The thing that is so interesting is that if you actually get one of Andreas's oils, the sunflower seed oil will taste and smell just like fresh sunflower seeds. The same is true with the pumpkin seed oil, which I'm going to add a little bit to this. I'm also going to add his 5 blend oil because it's so medicinal. He has a coriander oil and a black cumin oil, which has unbelievable benefits. It's been used in ancient times in the Middle East for some of the most serious of diseases. And I know a lot of people talk about its benefits with things like cancer, and encourage people to include that in a program that will support their bodies in healing themselves from all sorts of diseases. So I now have a nice little cut up blend of our sweet little veggies. These are just from the garden, but feel free to get totally creative. You can add some avocado, you can add nuts and seeds, you can put in a little chicken, shrimp, whatever you like. You can make it into a Thai salad, whatever you happen to enjoy, but I'm going to keep it very simple. And I'm going to add a little bit of the 5 seed oil, and this has a little bit of this wonderful oil on here. And of course, pumpkin oil is really a wonderful oil for men. Pumpkin seed is very high in zinc. The thing that's quite amazing about these, you notice that these are in black looking bottles, but it's really not black, it's a very deep purple. This is called Myron glass. Myron glass is very healing and protective to whatever goes in. So much so that we know that, like oils, like flaxseed oil, are supposed to be refrigerated. But I've literally had a bottle of Andreas's flaxseed oil sitting out for as much as 3 months, never with even the slightest bit of rancidity happening, because of the Myron glass and the cold processing that he does. I also wanted to tell you about this wonderful salt I recently discovered. This is called Icelandic flake salt, and it happens to be one of the highest magnesium content salts you can find, and it's pure ocean salt, nothing ever adulterating happening to it. It has 3 times more magnesium and 2 times more potassium. So for all of those of you who are involved with the ketogenic diet or doing low carb diets, we oftentimes have cramping that happens because of our loss of magnesium and potassium. This is a wonderful way to support your magnesium and potassium levels. This is some organic lime, so I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of lime on here. And I'm going to have a little taste. I bet you wish you were here. And we can do the most delicious, gourmet, wonderful foods that support our health. And it just takes a little bit of learning from life. And also, there's something emotionally so satisfying about receiving from the earth, sky and air and water and nature, Gaia, Mother, for providing us with such healing and precious food. It's wonderful. I encourage you to go out and do the same thing. My beloved Richard, Dr. Massey, is constantly teasing me about being a gatherer in stores, but I'll tell you, I would so much rather gather out in nature like this than anywhere else. So women, put on your gathering, pull in your gathering energy from your deep soul and let her nurture you. Thanks for listening today. So thanks for joining us today. This is Meridian Grace from Awakening Health. Please check out our website, awakeninghealth.com, and let us know what you think.